Okay, so hopefully this works. I'm going to have to record multiple different videos here because I have a 15-minute limit, but I'm going to try to go as quickly as possible through everything. So last class we finished up by starting to talk about the limbic system, which is it's often referred to as the emotional center of the brain. The limbic system consists of the hypothalamus, which controls most of our biological drives, such as body temperature, sex drive, so on and so forth. Does this through the control of the endocrine system, the interaction between neurotransmitters and hormones. It controls the pituitary gland, which then in turn controls the rest of the glands. The next structure in the limbic system that we need to know is what is called the amygdala. The amygdala is a very, very tiny little almond-shaped structure. Amygdala means almond. It's right there close to the hypothalamus. And the main thing that the amygdala is associated with is basic feelings, basic emotions, specifically anger and fear, what we would call like very primal emotions. But it's not emotions in the way that we would necessarily think about it. It is sort of like it's the feeling of fear or anger. Okay, it's that feeling that builds in us that elicits like a natural response. I make this distinction because most animals don't have the conscious experience of emotion. You know, a cat being afraid of a cucumber, the cat doesn't think to itself, I'm afraid of this thing. It is, they see it, okay, it triggers some sort of automatic response because it looks like a snake, all right, and then that feeling causes them to jump away from it. But animals don't necessarily understand, or they don't understand emotion. So main thing, with the amygdala emotion, you can think of it as, amygdala starts with an A, anger starts with an A. They found that damage to the amygdala can cause humans and animals to not necessarily have a fear response. For instance, some people who are classified as psychopaths, which means they don't really feel any normal emotions, their amygdala will not be activated, will not show activation during times when they should be scared. Now, what's interesting about that is people that are psychopaths will often say that they know that they should be afraid during a certain situation, but they just simply don't feel that feeling of fear, which would be heart pounding, breathing heavily, or whatnot. The amygdala can also pick up on fear stimuli before we are consciously aware of it. This is something that we'll come to later on in the class. But sort of that feeling that you get of maybe just being apprehensive and you're not sure why, when you're watching a horror movie and you just kind of start feeling nervous, but nothing really is happening. All right, that is actually your amygdala that is sending that pre-emotion response saying, hey, there's something here that I don't like. If you want to watch this video, I've linked my version of this PowerPoint. If you start this video at 16:19, you'll watch where they have inserted an electrode into a cat's amygdala and then into a cat's motor cortex, which is the area of the brain that allows us to move. And you'll see the difference in response when they when they send an electrical current to the amygdala versus to the motor cortex. It's another video here too. It's a little bit longer, but it's just talking about the amygdala. Feel free to watch it. This PowerPoint is linked on the pacing guide for today. The last structure of the limbic system that we need to know is what is called the hippocampus. The hippocampus is mainly involved. The main purpose is the processing of new memories. It doesn't store the memories. It sends these memories out to the rest of the brain to be stored. Specifically, what are called explicit memories, which are like life memories, and then also spatial memories. Our memory of rooms, how to get around, things like that. This is one of the first areas that shows deterioration with Alzheimer's disease. Especially with short-term memory. They're not able to remember maybe what somebody just said to them, but short-term memory loss, and then disorientation, which would be loss of spatial memory. All of a sudden, people with Alzheimer's will find themselves somewhere and they don't know where they are. They don't know how they got there. Those tend to be two of the really early signs of dementia, even before a diagnosis of dementia or Alzheimer's. Because the hippocampus is right next to your emotional center, your amygdala, emotions and memories are tied together. We process memories better when there is emotion associated with it, which is why we try to come up with the real life examples. I try to tell you to come up with things that apply to yourself. That actually makes the information easier to remember. One way to remember the hippocampus, there's a little saying, you always remember, sorry, it's hard to write on this, seeing a hippo on campus. You would always remember seeing a hippo on campus. Okay, memory. You should, if you want to see more about the hippocampus, you can watch this video. This is a video about a patient named HM, who I talked about him at the beginning of when we talked about lesioning. This is the patient that was having seizures. They went in and they destroyed this area right here, which is where they believed the seizures were coming from. What they ended up discovering was that, yes, the seizures were coming from there. This is a common area for where seizures originate. But they also discovered through this that after the surgery, the patient, Henry Meliasen, could not form any new memories. They accidentally destroyed the patient's hippocampus without knowing what they were doing. All right, so that is the first video. Then you're going to move on to the next one, which is going to be starting on the cerebral cortex.